There's something special about these trees. It's the way they look, the character they have, the presence they have in the landscape, the smell, the touch, the feel. There's no other trees like them. These trees have spirit. They've got presence. When people meet these trees, they can't help but be filled with a sense of awe. They are elders in the landscape. There isn't anybody I've brought here who doesn't feel it. There's something that makes people feel they have a relationship to these trees, that touches people in a special way. This is Lutruwita, Tasmania. And these are Waialina, cider gums, the weeping trees. This is Traudamarkaminya, in the Central Highlands of Lutruwita, Tasmania, Aboriginal land. It's a place of significant cultural and natural value. Traditionally, it was part of the Big River Nation. And in 2013, this property of almost 7,000 hectares was returned to the Aboriginal community. Traudamarkaminya means road through country. For Aboriginal people, this area was part of a travel route between the Midlands and the Highlands. As our people travelled, they burnt these open plains to keep the vegetation structured and healthy, which was important for travel, but also for hunting and food gathering as well. Now this property has been returned. It's become a place where Aboriginal people can come back to country. There was a long period of disconnect for the Aboriginal community in this area. Getting people back onto country, starting to learn about it again, that's really important for us. One of the most important things about this land for us are the stands of Waialina, or cider gum. Waialina needs special places to grow and thrive. So it was amazing to discover they grow here when there are so few of these places left in Lutruwita. We bring community out to learn about them, to learn how to identify them and recognise where they live in the landscape, to learn about their history and their cultural significance, to discover how our ancestors once related to these trees. They're special. Partly it's the way they look, smell, feel. Partly too it's the sap which you can drink. It's really sweet, but it has properties of fermentation, so it can be intoxicating. There are records of really big gatherings of Aboriginal people in the St Patrick's Plains area in the 1830s. It seems like these trees, their sap, brought people together. It was probably people from several different nations who gathered together in these areas where the cider gums grew. There were no other trees quite like them. They've got character, they've got presence. When people meet these trees, they can't help but be filled with a sense of awe. Waialina embody a sense of eldership in the landscape. There isn't anybody we've brought out here to Traudamarkaminya who doesn't feel it. We've got about 14 Aboriginal rangers at the moment, working for the community, taking care of Aboriginal land across the island. Some of them, before they became rangers, hadn't had a lot of experience on country. It's been great for them to spend time here at Traudamarkaminya, learning about the country and the trees, learning from the trees, developing relationships with these trees. There's been a revival in the Aboriginal community of coming out to the Wailina and tapping them for their sap. It's an important cultural practice for us, a practice that belongs to our community. It's really important we protect the Wailina, what's left of them in the landscape. There are trees, both alive and dead, that bear the markings of hundreds of years of Aboriginal use, being tapped for their sap. And those trees are part of our heritage. Seeing those big stands of dead Wailina covering large areas and with really huge old trees amongst them, it's a sad feeling. A lot of those trees would have been living at the time of invasion, and their death is an indication of the collapse of living systems that's happened since then. Wailina are struggling so hard, shrinking in their range, dying off, and to me that's a demonstration of the way the country's been mismanaged and not cared for. There is a problem with the colonial value system. It's not referencing the value of the natural environment and the value of country to the human well-being. If you look at Aboriginal society, the well-being of the land and country is essential to the well-being of people. And it's too easy for people to move away from that. And move so far away that the nature of the country and health of the country loses its relevance to daily life. Even if we're not aware of it, that actually underpins our existence. We need to put those values back at the forefront of our decision making about how we live, about the projects we do, about how we develop. Putting those values back will bring us closer to a deeper understanding, which is essential to our long-term future. We need to protect Wailina by caring more for the country that they are in. The natural world is a holistic body. The way Aboriginal people describe it is that it's alive in its entirety. It has its sadness, it has its happiness, it has its health, and it can become sick. All living things are important to that whole. What happens to prominent species is important because it helps us to see. Wailina are such a striking feature in the landscape. We can't help but notice them. They take your eye straight away. If we see something is going wrong with Wailina, then we know there are deeper problems that we need to address. Like they're calling out to us. When Wailina are leaving us, it's an alarm going off. It's something we should all be taking notice of.